Good evening, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. And Merry Christmas to everyone here from the b.hive. Thank you guys for joining me on tonight's special Horror Hump Day. It's the 2025 holiday special. How are we all doing? Jessica, how you doing? You staying warm? It's actually pretty decent out there, so I don't know how many people will have joining us tonight. Thank you. Because I imagine people are sitting down with their loved ones. Um, people that have big families or go out of town. I know Bobby and Beth are up in Brainerd now. And the only reason I know that is because I'm taking care of the house. So anyhow, yeah. So, but this is a story that I've been wanting to write for the new horror anthology, which will be out sometime. Sometime it will. I got about 3 or 4 stories for that book so far written, this being one of them. This story is actually the end of a trilogy. Um, I had written, um, I wrote a horror story, a Christmas horror story called um, "The Anti-Claus is Coming to Town," and he basically terrorized this family, this very dysfunctional family, and drug many people to hell to work in the sulfur mines. And then last year I wrote a prequel to that. It was the origin story of not only the Anti-Claus, but it was the origin story for Santa Claus as well, and how he became that. I did a lot of research actually on the lore of Saint Nicholas, and there's some truth to his story, and there's also some fairy tales to it. So I added a lot of that to that story, and I think um, probably next year for Christmas, I think what I'll do is I'll read the entire saga for whoever wants to hear it. So I'll have to do it on I don't know, I'll have to do it on Advent or something like that to get that many people to watch it or stay watching. So anyhow, um, I myself am doing this for Christmas Eve with you guys. Normally, well, many years ago, many years ago, when I was just a little dude. Hey Beth, how are you doing? Merry Christmas to you. Um, I used to go to my grandma's for Christmas Eve. This is where me and my cousin Troy would fight over who grandma loved most because she actually bought us both the same exact toy, but we would still argue over who was more loved. And as it turns out, it was my cousin, but that's how it is. You want to know the truth, you get it, and then you don't like it anymore. I'm only kidding. So yeah, this is my Christmas Eve. This probably be a tradition is to sit and read to you guys, depending on what my future looks like, right? I mean, I might not be here next year. Who knows? So anyhow, it's good to see you guys. Tonight's story, I actually wrote probably 95% of this story at the Winthrop Mercantile last Sunday when well, hey, what's going on, Kevin? Merry Christmas, buddy. I wrote it while I was watching the Mercantile for the Paulsons, and I mean, I did get interrupted a few times, which is fine because it was actually kind of cool to meet some people, and it was kind of fun to do transaction. I haven't worked a cash register in a while, so that was actually a lot of fun. But hey, Bobby, Merry, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas Eve, right? So tomorrow for Christmas Day, I'm gonna make a lasagna, um, and Probably not going to be a whole lot of things that we're going to do. Um, it's going to make lasagna and some cheese bread and call it good. So, um, yeah, that's what I'm doing for Christmas. And then, yeah, then it's back to work on Friday. So, yeah, that's how exciting I am. Happy Jingle Bells Day. Kevin and his jingle bells, I tell you, they're going to get him in trouble someday. Actually, they probably already have a few times. But anyhow, um, let's. I first of all, I appreciate you guys coming out here and spending Christmas Eve with me here at the Beehive. Very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate you guys sharing. I saw that you guys shared on your profile pages that you shared tonight's event. So I really appreciate that. I did look ahead at the calendar, and so I think January 6th is when we'll return to business as usual here at the Hive. Um, might do a coffee with friends in a couple weeks with my family. We'll see how willing they are to do that with me. But anyway, it'll probably be something really short, just a hello or a happy new year or whatever it is. It'll be what it is. So anyhow, that will be that. It'll just be nice to be in warm weather, and yeah, it'll be nice to be away for a while. So much needed break from the world. So anyhow, I thought we would just jump right into the story. You will have to excuse me because I'll be using a lot of effects on this story. So yeah, just to make it cool for you guys, make it worth coming out here. If you guys were all here, I'd probably give you like little candy canes like Santa does at the mall. But yeah, we're kind of stuck. You're just stuck with these little sound effects like this one I have for Kevin. Yeah. And this one I have for Bobby. And this one for me when I think I'm funny. I know, right? All right. Oh, just drinking straight water tonight. No eggnog, no whiskey, no coffee, and no iced tea. So, without further ado, I don't know if we'll be getting anybody else in here. Possibly Chuck will come sliding in a little later or not. So, but I'm happy with the folks I got right now. I know there's some of you who don't normally chime in are here. So, welcome to you as well. Welcome to the Hive. And Kevin, be prepared not to sleep tonight. All right. Sorry, buddy, but I didn't force you to come here, did I? All right, here we go. Silent night. There was a bright flash of light, so pure it would have burned the retinas of anyone who had witnessed it. It was under an eighth of a second, and where there was a fireplace flickering a fake flame, a large frame man stood. Draped in a crimson fur cloak, black leather fur-lined boots, and layers of leather and fur hides, the figure froze and listened. It was 4 a.m. Only the grinding of the fake fireplace log echoed through the living room of the house, its cellophane flames licking the air. A distant ticking from a clock in another room. Two stockings, one green and one red, hung on the mantel. Atop that sat photos of Isetta and Iacopo, the daughter and son of Malosi and Elsa Alopu. This was his last stop, a small village in American Samoa called Inglai. This is also the last place on earth to celebrate Christmas, a full 24 hours from the Kiribati Line Islands, whom are the first to celebrate. He pulled the hood down from his face. It was lined with ancient wrinkles that were formed by the joy it emitted. He had done this job for eons, and his route only changed slightly from decade to decade. There was a large sack filled with the necessities of the families he ministered to. The former bishop, now sainted Nicholas, had given his whole existence to the ministry of goodwill toward men and peace on earth. He had given away his human weaknesses and ascended into near godhood to become the icon he is today. Sure, there were naysayers. There always had been since the dawn of man. "There is no Santa Claus," they'd say, or "He's only a Coca-Cola icon." And commercialism had used his image to sell their products. Thousands of drunkards looking to make an extra buck or two for a bottle of rotgut, dressed as him and sat in malls, tending to the needs of suburban brats or ringing the bells on busy street corners and Walmarts to gather money for the poor. But that was okay. His mission was not for notoriety. It was for the will of God. He reached into his sack, and when he pulled his arm back, his hands were empty. His white furry brows rose on his face, and he dug into the sack again, feeling around here and there, but there was nothing within. Usually, whenever he reached in, whatever it was the family needed would appear when he withdrew his gloved hand. But now there was nothing. "Odd," he muttered to himself. "I know the Halupus have always been recipients of God's mercy and blessings."
Manua le Chrisimasi, Santa Claus,
came a young voice behind him. In all his years, he had never been caught. In fact, he had been able to slow time in order to get his work done. A heavy sleep should have covered the entire family. But early this Christmas morning, Iseta stood behind him, tugging on his cloak. He turned around slowly. What would normally be a healthy 13-year-old Samoan girl stood an ashen gray child. Her hair was matted, eyes cloudy and lips dry and cracked. Her head sat cocked to one side, as if she were listening for his reply to her Christmas greeting. Little puffs of breath escaped his mouth. What would normally be 87 degrees Fahrenheit was now a cold blue 11 degrees. "What have you done?" he said to the child. "What have you done to the chosen of God?"
"What indeed?"
the girl said, but her voice went from childlike to a low, wet croak. "This is impossible. You have no power here. These people, this family, they are people of God."
"Yet here I am."
Iakopo's bare feet slapped lethargically on the cement. and he appeared behind his older sister. He was in the same condition as his sibling, save for the drool that hung from his bottom lip.
And I am here as well.
The voice gurgled from the young boy's throat. You will leave these children of the Almighty, the sainted bishop ordered. By the blood of Christ, I command you to come out of those children now! Sparks of light emitted from his hands and lit upon the children. Just a few at first, and then the kids were engulfed in light. When the sparks cleared, the children stood there laughing, heads still cranked, but their lips in a hideous grin.
They are already lost, brother.
Both children said in unison.
I absorbed them yesterday. They were eating a wonderful family dinner with their extended family, and I took them all. You could say I filled them with the Christmas spirit.
You couldn't have, the being known by many as St. Nicholas said. There was a slight quiver in his voice.
O ye of little faith, brother. What do you think I've been doing since the exile? Shivering in the Antarctic where you and your angels left me?
There was no choice. You were my sin. You were all the bad parts of me that I
was your human side. I was the part of you that was cast aside to burn and rot. You show pity and mercy on all of humanity, but you exiled your own.
The being that billions of people throughout the ages called Santa Claus paused.
You abandoned me. You abandoned me while you spread goodwill and joy to the rest of the world, the rest of existence. Even when I found my way to your front doorstep, you turned your back on me.
I had no choice, Santa repeated, this time in a voice ashamed of his own actions. I had to be pure in order to fulfill the word of God.
Brother, have you forgotten that you did all those things when we were still together? While you were performing miracles and saving souls, I was still part of you. Yet you let those boot-licking lackeys of the Almighty talk you into sloughing off the part that made you human.
But you have killed so many, enslaved so many. How can a harbinger of peace, joy, and goodwill carry that around? How can I justify what I do if I carried around such hate with me?
Oh, come now. Take some responsibility for your actions. You walked away from me, left me to be burned and forgotten in a hidden grave in Turkey. Did you not expect me to feel resentment and hate for the race of beings who did this to me? Do you not expect me to want to be with you again? The souls I took deserved what they got. They were horrible to others, as much as they were to themselves. If they died by the hand of fate, the Almighty would have smited them anyways. They'd be rotting in an eternal flame below.
Why have you chosen now to confront me with this?
I needed power. I have absorbed so many souls, and time has made me powerful. So powerful, brother. If I were to face the angels who banished me, they would be laid to waste. But that is not what I want. That's not why I'm here.
Just then, Melosi and Elsa stumbled out of their bedroom. They also looked like their children, gray and twisted, eyes dead and white with their mouths open and slack. Soon the entire extended family shambled from the dark places of the home and surrounded them both. "What are you doing?" Santa asked suspiciously, picking up a cane that was leaning on the wall next to the door.
It is time for us to be together again, brother.
The evil bishop muttered.
Time to be who we once were, to join together.
Santa raised the cane up in front of himself, pivoting to guard himself from the crowd of the Halupa family members. "Face me yourself!" Santa said angrily. "Stop using these poor people as your puppets!"
But they are me.
They all said in chorus. They all began to close the circle around the man known as Santa Claus in the Netherlands. He swung the hickory cane back and forth to ward them off. Swooshing through the frigid air, the bodies moved in closer and closer. "Don't do this," he said. "Stay back! By the blood of the Lamb, stay back!"
Join us,
came the chorus from the putrefied throats.
Join us, brother.
"Stop this!" They were close to him now. He could smell rotted flesh and a burning smell, like a cross between sulfur and cabbage. He held the cane close to his body, and he closed his eyes and prayed, waiting for these horrors to tear him apart, to absorb him and suffocate the light he had been gifted by the powers of heaven. But that never came. There were grotesque gurgling sounds, bubbling from what seemed to be right in front of him. Croaky screeches and moans that sounded like demons being birthed from a gaseous moor.
Open your eyes.
His brother said in one single tone.
See me, brother. See me for who I am.
Santa reluctantly opened one eye, and then the next. He lowered the cane and saw. Before him was the shape of a man, not unlike himself, but he was made up of burnt flesh. The Malosu family's bodies had laid unconscious around them, with translucent black goo draped around them in wet strings. "Dear God," Santa gasped, "you've killed them! They were good people!"
They are not dead,
the evil bishop said.
I have released them. They will wake on Christmas morning with no memory of this, only a little confused and sore.
Why? Why have you done this?
To be with you, brother. That's all I ever wanted.
And you won't destroy these poor people?
Not if you join me.
Santa lowered the cane and knelt down next to the body of Isetta. He felt for her pulse, and it beat strong within her neck. What if I decide not to join you?
Then I kill everyone in this room. I keep killing humans who are deemed to be naughty or evil. I will even kill the righteous ones. When I've enveloped them all, I will come for you in your northern palace, and I will take your kingdom from you and lay waste to any from heaven who try to stop me.
You couldn't stop the powers from heaven.
Are you willing to risk it? They never showed up for this family, and they were marked as yours, and I took them anyways.
Hundreds of years ago, a monk held office in a monastery in Turkey. He was jailed by the Muslim hordes. Despite performing miracles and serving the destitute, both Christian and heathen alike. Then one night he was visited by a host of heaven and charged with being a herald of God. On that night, angels purged his soul of human thought to make him pure to do God's work. In the aftermath, the remains of that human soul were buried in a secret crypt beneath the church in Myra, which were then liberated by sailors who brought them to Italy. And throughout time, these remains became sentient and longed to be with its brother, bringing death and pestilence in its wake. Known to historians as the Black Death, it found his brother's trail, leading him to the top of the world. His brother rejected him, and by the might of the angelic hosts, he was exiled to Antarctica, where he would exact revenge on the populace of Earth, capturing the souls of the unrighteous and bringing them to the sulfur mines of hell. He had struck down many in every corner of the globe. And now here he was, asking to be reunited with his other self. The cane dropped from his hand. Very well. Black tendrils exploded from the evil bishop, the one some called the Anti-Claus, or Black Nicholas, or Krampus, and many other names and many other languages. They enveloped St. Nicholas, cocooning him in black, rotted flesh. He struggled until things went dark in his mind. The sleigh's flight path was guided by the aurora borealis. Whipping through the icy cold winds of the Arctic, he could feel those winds now, and it had been many a year since he had felt them. The snow cut through his flesh as they landed. He didn't know if he still held the power he was granted when he ascended into the being known as Santa Claus. Things felt heavier. The air felt more real in his lungs. He felt fatigue and exhaustion. Time returned, and things seemed to speed up faster than what he was used to. He felt older, too. He stepped out of his sleigh, and he felt a slight hitch in his hips. He grimaced and then walked, the steps made of ice, into his palace that glowed with every color of the spectrum. Normally agile, the slick frozen steps claimed him as his boots shot up in front of him and he landed hard onto the stairs with his tailbone. He moaned to himself and slowly struggled to his feet. At the gates of his home, 2 angels stood. They were shimmering with sparks and blazing beams of pure light. An unseen chorus sang some unknown language from their presence. They stepped in his way to block his entrance.
What have you done?
They asked, pulsing with electricity. One of them were made up of iron wheels, spinning wildly within one another, glowing with kinetic energy. The other had the head of an androgynous human, neither male nor female, but sculpted perfectly from marble like skin. The head was surrounded by wings that had several blinking and darting eyes. "Let me pass," Santa said.
You cannot. You have defiled the vessel we created for you. You must shed the human stink off your body.
"That is because I am human. Now move aside and let me pass."
We will transform you once again, Bishop, but only this one time. You have grown weak because you are tainted with the sin of your former self.
You will move aside and let me in. I am still the herald of good.
You have merged with your former self. When we purge you of this stain, we will make sure we have deleted this atrocity out of existence.
Santa laughed. The angels erupted into a fury of light and lightning. The air dripped with heat, melting a circle around them. Santa looked up from his hood. "Calm yourself, angels," Santa said. "You have kept me from my humanity. It was my humanity that made me into the person that you sainted." A bolt of lightning snapped from the being made up of wheels and ripped through his chest. He felt his heart stop, and then it immediately began to pump again.
We must purify you. You cannot carry out the mission of God unless yes, you have been purified.
A thick black tentacle flew out from Santa's robes and coiled itself around the wheels. They struggled to move and came to a sudden stop when several more joined in and knotted themselves around them.
What are you doing? How is this even possible?
Black wisp of flesh sprayed out and tangled the winged guardian. Its wings shivered, trying to flap their way free of the obsidian web weaved around them. Santa walked past them and through the gates. The two angels struggling in large orbs of colorless light and then imploded on themselves. There will be others, Santa said to himself. Good, let them come, he answered himself. Come, all ye faithful and faithless. Together we bring peace to all, great or small, evil or good. We will serve together. We will return as the Bishop of Mercy and return to the human race. Santa watched his palace lose its glow. The spires began to melt and join the ocean below the frost. He climbed into his sleigh, snapped the reins, and clicked his tongue on the roof of his mouth. The deer pulled with a great heave, and the blades of the skis hissed against the snow as they made their way towards the lights of humanity. And that, my friends, is Silent Night. Oh my gosh, thanks for the stars, Bobby. I appreciate that. I really do. I've got Ollie Gypsy is here. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the stars, Bobby. Very much appreciated. Oh man. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Now you and I, meaning all of you guys, won't be seeing each other for about a week, a little over a week. So I'll miss the hell out of you. I might jump on and do a couple quick live streams or whatever just to check in and see how you guys are all doing. But until then, thank you all very much for joining me tonight. I do very much hope. Well, then, I hope you liked it. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. What'd you think? What'd you think, Bobby? Huh? So, yeah. Anyhow, that's the story, and I came all with all of that while I was sitting at Bobby's store. So there you go. Just goes to show you the evil influence that he has on me. So seriously, though, folks, thank you for sharing your Christmas Eve with me, and it makes you sad. Um, and yeah, I appreciate all of that. I appreciate you guys are always here. When you're not, I worry about you. I'm actually really worried about Shannon. He wished me a Merry Christmas today, but I don't see him on the on the live streams anymore. So I hope everything's okay. I'll have to reach out to him on the backside here. But anyhow, thank you guys very much, seriously, for spending your holidays with me. I hope to see you guys very soon. I love you all. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. And I hope you guys have a safe New Year. I hope you guys have safe travels this holiday season. And I will see you Paulsons on probably Friday or Saturday. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Love you. Peace and a bottle of hair grease. Mwah. I am out. Thank you, Beth. Merry Christmas to you as well.